Her name was Eliza, 22, raised in a town that taught her to stay small. She'd left 2 months earlier, thinking the road would open like a storybook. It hadn't. Instead, it became a trail of rejections, missed buses, cold stares, and promises she couldn't afford to chase anymore. She found the garden gate by accident. Or maybe not. The iron arch had no sign. Ivy climbed its sides, and pink roses bloomed defiantly through the rust. Past the gate was a path of cracked stone and wild hedges that whispered with wind. Something about it felt like invitation. She pushed it open and stepped in. At the end of the path stood a small white house tucked beneath towering oaks. The chimney smoked, though there was no chill. A stone bench faced a trickling fountain in the yard, and beside it sat an old woman with silver braids, peeling an apple with a small knife. She looked up with no surprise in her eyes. "You're late," she said. Not by the hour, but in spirit. Eliza blinked and stumbled over an apology, unsure whether to explain her presence. The woman simply smiled and told her she'd been late to herself. But that was none of her business, unless Eliza wanted it to be. Eliza stood frozen. The woman patted the bench beside her and told her to sit. She said Eliza looked like someone tired from walking in circles. They sat in silence, water trickling behind them. The woman said her name was Maribel, and that the garden was older than Eliza could imagine, and wiser than most people allowed. Eliza introduced herself. She said she hadn't known she was looking for anything until she found this place. Maribel nodded. Most people don't know what they're looking for. They just know what they don't want. Eliza laughed weakly. She said she'd left everything behind because she didn't want that life, but now she had no idea what she did want. It felt like too much, or nothing at all. Maribel handed her a slice of apple and said wanting wasn't the problem. Believing you're allowed to have it, that's where most people stumble. Eliza came back the next day. And the next. Maribel never asked about her past. She just asked questions. What would you do if you weren't afraid of looking foolish? What's the thing you pretend not to want because wanting it feels dangerous? What's more exhausting, failing, or never even trying? Sometimes Eliza answered. Sometimes she stared into the water and let the questions settle like stones into a still pond. On the 4th day, Eliza asked how you get what you want. Maribel smiled and said, "Now they begin." She stood and motioned for Eliza to follow her to the back of the garden. Hidden among the hedges stood a door, not part of any wall, just a door standing alone. "This is the first thing," Maribel said. "You must decide, not wish, not hope, decide." Most people knock gently at life's door, and when there's no answer, they walk away. But those who get what they want are the ones who kick the door down, because they've already made up their minds that what lies beyond is theirs. Eliza looked at the door. She asked how she could know what's on the other side. "You don't," Maribel said, "but it doesn't matter. The kind of desire that brings results isn't about guarantees, it's about commitment." She looked Eliza square in the eyes. If you chase something with your whole soul, the universe cannot help but take notice. But it does not chase the uncertain. You must want like it's a fire that will not go out. They walked the garden in long, quiet laps over the following days. Eliza helped prune vines, rake leaves, harvest herbs. It felt good to do something with her hands. Simple, but not empty. Her thoughts became clearer. She started speaking aloud while working. "I'm here, I'm capable, I'm not lost, I'm choosing." Maribel called this muscle memory for the spirit. One morning, she handed Eliza a leather-bound notebook. "This is where you write what you want. Not what you're afraid of, not what others expect. What you want, with no apology." Eliza hesitated. What if she didn't know yet? "Then write anyway," Maribel said. Naming your desire is part of calling it forth. It's not about perfect clarity, it's about honest direction. Eliza opened the notebook and began. At first, her sentences were soft. "I want to travel. I want to create something beautiful. I want to feel proud of myself." But as she kept writing, the tone changed. "I will write a book that moves people. I will wake up excited about my days. I will live with fire in my chest, not fear." Later, she found a line in one of Maribel's old books and copied it into her journal. "What we ardently desire with all the powers of our being, we will eventually draw to us over time." Maribel taught her more. That failure is not an endpoint, but a teacher. That enthusiasm is magnetic. That belief is not passive, It bends reality halfway to meet it. People don't fail because their dreams are too big, Maribel said once. They fail because they quit dreaming after the first bruise. Eliza nodded, then added quietly that dreaming sometimes made the fall harder. It does, Maribel said, but would you rather fall in pursuit of something beautiful, or live safe in something that doesn't feed your soul? One rainy afternoon, Eliza stayed indoors. The storm battered the windows. She sat by the fire, rereading her notebook. Her handwriting had changed, stronger, steadier, no longer hesitant. She thought about her past, all the ways she talked herself out of opportunities, the voices that told her to be realistic, the friends who scoffed at her dreams. But she saw it clearly now. They hadn't chained her. She had. Every time she said she wasn't ready, she'd chained herself. Every time she asked, "Who am I to want that?" she'd slammed the door shut. But she wasn't that girl anymore. The next morning, she told Maribel she was ready to want something with her whole heart. No filters, no disclaimers. Maribel placed a hand over hers and said to say it out loud. Eliza took a breath. Her heart pounded. I want to write. I want to live in a place that inspires me. I want to build a life where my days feel like art. I want to help others break free of fear. I want to be bold. Silence followed. Then Maribel said she had given her soul direction. Now she had to follow it, no matter how strange the map looked. On her final evening in the garden, Eliza sat alone by the fountain. The trees stood watch. The air was still. It felt like a goodbye, but not sad. A rite of passage. Maribel joined her, holding a small envelope. You've outgrown the questions, she said. Time to chase the answers. Eliza looked at the envelope. Maribel told her it wasn't a map, it was a key, but only if she used it. Inside was a train ticket. One way. To a city Eliza had once circled in a travel book but never believed she'd reach. Why now? She asked. Because now you believe you're allowed to want it, Maribel said. And more importantly, you're willing to go get it. They hugged beneath the oaks, under a sky streaked with lavender and gold. Eliza whispered, "Thank you for everything." Maribel looked her in the eye. Want boldly, act immediately, persist relentlessly, and speak always as though what you seek is already yours. Eliza nodded, notebook tucked under her arm. As she walked away from the garden gate, something had shifted. Not the world, her place in it. She didn't know exactly what the future held, but for the first time in her life, she wanted it, and she believed it wanted her back.